Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Back again. Okay, I'm not 100%, as I'm sure you can hear. My voice is still a little rough. I'm a little stuffed up still. Can't really hear too well. So if I'm yelling, I apologize. But I just wanted to bring you some news before the weekend and for the weekend. So as I'm sure you guys all know, yesterday or last night was President Biden's State of the Union address. He did well. It's a low bar that's been set, but he had some good moments. He showed a lot of fight, and that's really what Democrats want to see. A lot of us just want to see somebody with some energy going at these people. So they had a response. The Republicans had a response, as you may have also heard. It was delivered by Alabama Senator Katie Britt. She is a new senator. So she laid out this rebuttal. And here's the thing. Britt was reportedly by, some people in the media being considered for Donald Trump's vice president. Well, let's just say, first of all, she's not going to win an Oscar. She's not going to win an Oscar anytime in the next 5 million years. And she's not going to be VP. After last night, I think it is 100% safe to say, take a look.
The Chinese Communist Party is undercutting America's workers. China is buying up our farmland, spying on our military installations, and spreading propaganda through the likes of TikTok. You see, the CCP knows that if it conquers the minds of our next generation, it conquers America. And what does President Biden do? Well, he bans TikTok for government employees, but creates an account for his own campaign. We all recall when presidents faced national security threats with strength and resolve. That seems like ancient history. Right now, our commander-in-chief is not in command. The free world deserves better than a dithering and diminished leader. President Biden finally said her name.
So, yeah, I seriously have secondhand embarrassment for her. Here's how I feel about Katie Britt's speech. Here's how I felt after watching it. That is now my favorite Trump clip. That is now my favorite. So her performance in that response, it reminded me of something my brother said to our cousin when we were teenagers. She did something stupid, and he just looked at her and said, "You have no idea how embarrassed you should be right now." That is how I felt after watching Katie Britt. But here's what Fox News had to say.
Great job in your delivery, the structure of the speech, especially because you had to adjust at the last minute to what the president would say.
So seriously, yeah, great delivery. Yeah, really? Was it? I'm sorry. Watching her, all I could think of was, this is like a rejected submission to Star Search in the 1980s or 1990s. And yes, I'm dating myself. And you could almost see her counting through the dramatic pauses in between her lines. I guarantee she wrote them into her script. I guarantee she was like, pause, 1, 2, 3. But Biden didn't do anything. But what really matters is what Donald Trump thought of her performance, right? Because after all, he was the man who was supposed to bring her on as a VP potentially. So here's what Trump posted on his social media site, his failing social media site. Katie Britt was a great contrast to an angry and obviously very disturbed, quote unquote, president. She was compassionate and caring, especially concerning women and women's issues. Her conversation on migrant crime was powerful and insightful. Great job, Katie. So his MAGA supporters disagree. One Liar Social Trump follower replied to his post and said, quote, "Totally disagree. Didn't need a bedtime story. We should have called out the lies," misspelled, explained the BS bills, and hit hard that the border could have been closed by an executive order. Republican rebuttal sucked. Lies spelled with a Y, by the way. I didn't know it was that hard of a word. 4 letters. Anyway, another Trump supporter wrote, quote, "It was actually pretty embarrassing. Her speech was okay, but her delivery was terrible." Another Liar Social user said, quote, "I thought she was horrible. The affect was terrible. She sounded phony and insincere. Didn't know whether she was laughing or crying about inflation, the border. It was a ridiculous response the Republicans will never learn." And then a user named Grifter Spy replied with, quote, "Gimme a break. She belongs reading books to children in a daycare. She was a terrible choice. Yawn." Then another man named Jake Roxon, I think is how you pronounce it, he responded to Trump and said, quote, "She was the opposite of why people like and support you. She wasn't authentic, and she talked in a manner as if she thought it would tug at our heartstrings. Putting too much emphasis on trying to emotionally manipulate the viewers rather than just speaking off the cuff facts. My wife and I already don't trust her, and this was many people's first impression of her." And then Liar Social user Bill DeWall stated, quote, "She seemed a bit psycho. She smiled the whole time, talking about horrible things. That's crazy." And then a woman named Kathy Meehan agreed with him, and she said, quote, "Exactly. I kept telling my husband, WTF is she smiling? Quit acting. She was not a good choice. It was like Miss America contest, fake AF." And then another person replied to Trump with, quote, "With respect, sir, she was breathlessly weird. I felt her over-the-top dramatic presentation was spectacularly off-putting." So we found the person who calls him sir. Sir, sir. So what's interesting, though, is if you try to go and look at these posts on Trump's social media site, you can't find them anymore. They've been disappeared. It's very interesting that the site that's ironically called Truth Social, for the biggest liar on the planet, started by a man who rails against the fake news, guy who claims to be the leader of the free speech warriors, and he appears to be removing posts by people who disagree with him. Either he removed them or they removed them themselves because they realized how bad it looked and how much everyone was dogging on him and making Katie Britt look like she did. So anyway, yeah, another big L, another big fail by the Republican Party. So, and last night, if you missed the State of the Union, you didn't miss much with the Republicans. It was your typical clown show, Marjorie Taylor Greene in a MAGA hat, jumping up and yelling and doing all their typical clown show BS. So nothing new. They just have made such fools out of the party. It is a shell of what it once was. And now you got Mitch McConnell going along with it. Oh, and by the way, George Santos announced he was there. He actually showed up for the State of the Union, and he announced he is running for Congress again. He's not going to run in his old district. He's running in a different district against another incumbent Republican. So, yeah, the guy just, he doesn't get it. He really doesn't get that he is probably going to be behind bars. Good luck with that, Georgie. All right, I'll let you all know when I hear more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe to the channel. Trying to hit that 100,000 before the middle of the year. It's going to be a big show. If I do, I will do a special live stream. Might even invite some people on. So thank you all so much for all of your support and hanging with me while I've been sick this week. Truly appreciate it. Love you all. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.